following a mother and her 3 daughters, I think is going to be a little bit easier for my brain to comprehend. What just happened? Hi everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with my January haul. So today we're going to be talking about all of the books that I picked up in the month of January. And as I was like collecting all the books and like putting them in a stack here, I realized there's a lot less than I thought there was going to be. If you remember when I did my December haul, I mentioned that January was going to be an issue because I purposely didn't buy anything in December, and so now I was going to be buying all of the things. And while I do have a relatively good stack here, it's not that large when you think about it. And then I remembered that I've done like 90% of my pre-ordering for the year in January, so you won't be seeing all the books that I acquired, or like that I bought, because I pre-ordered so many. So, you know, that made me feel a little bit better and worse all at the same time. I don't know how you can do that. But anyway, that is all beside the point. You did not need to know my mind rabbit hole. But today we're going to be going over all of the books that I acquired this month. I have on my list, it says 13, but I think it's closer to like 17-ish. So I will just jump right on in. Why not? Why ramble? Let's just get to it. So the first 2 books that I want to talk about are the 2 that I got in my December fairy loot. So I will leave linked above my unboxing of that if you'd like to see it. And then also, just as a heads up, you could skip ahead like 4-ish minutes or so, let's say 2 to 4 minutes, if you don't want to know what those books are. But the first one was actually an extra one that they just added in, and that is The Coldest Touch, and this is by Isabel Sterling. It says, "Death drew them together. Life could tear them apart." This one is giving me retro Halloween vibes. Still to this day, like, I look at it and I go, this looks like retro Halloween, because we've got like Hulk hand and also like vampire hand? I'm not sure. But this sounds like it's going to be a female-female romance. It follows Elise, who is cursed because every time she touches someone, she experiences how they're going to die. And then I think she ends up teaming up with a vampire. Yes, a vampire named Claire, who's tasked with helping her kind of, I think, hone her these magical powers. So it's going to be the 2 of them. I think it's going to be set in high school based on the background of this. I don't expect to get to this anytime soon. Honestly, like I said, it's giving me those spooky vibes, so I probably won't get around to it until the fall. But that was the extra book we got this month, and it looks pretty cool, so I can't wait to give it a try. And then the book that we ended up getting this month is The Year of the Reaper. It's not right, just Year of the Reaper by Micah Lucier. And it says, "The past never forgets." So this book is, as always, fairy loot books are stunning. It's got a beautiful embossed like golden cover. We've got these black sprayed edges, which are stunning. And then of course they can't do a book without having something beautiful under the dust jacket, and we've got this beautiful embossed kind of a man, and then obviously the reverse side of the dust jacket. So I can't remember if this is part of a series or not. I feel like it is. It just gives me series vibes. I'd be surprised if this was not the first in a series, to be honest. So this follows a guy named Lord Cassia, and it takes place during a war, and so 3 years before the events of whatever happens in this book, he kind of just disappears in the middle of this war, and then he just ends up showing up. He apparently escaped a prison cell and escaped some sort of illness, and he just wants to leave the past behind him. And so he comes back to his kingdom, which is completely in shambles. I'm not even sure, like, he's not really a prince or anything, but he comes back to his hometown, his home place, and it's in shambles. And so he ends up having to, like, dive into something because, like, the queen, I believe, someone's trying to assassinate the queen, I want to say. And so he teams up with this historian, and they kind of team up to try to figure out what the heck is going on. So it's giving me YA high fantasy vibes, which I do love. Hopefully I'll get around to this soon so I can, like, actually see what this is about. The next book is a book that is actually one that came out last year, and it's definitely on the list of books that I want to read by the end of the year, and that is this gigantic book. It is In the Shadow of the Empress by Nancy Goldstone. It's the defiant lives of Marie Theresa, mother of Marie Antoinette, and her daughters. So it follows, like it says, Marie Antoinette's mother, Maria Theresa, and her 3 daughters, including Marie Antoinette. And I love Marie Antoinette. I don't know a lot about her. I remember watching this movie like many years ago with Catherine Dunst in it, I think is her name. Kristen Dunst. She played Marie Antoinette, and it was a very retro look at that, and that made me just dive into her history a little bit, but I haven't really researched a lot besides like the Wikipedia page. So I'm very curious to see her mother, because in that movie her mother was not portrayed badly, but it also wasn't portrayed in like a light that you as the viewer enjoyed. And I freaking love Nancy Goldstone's writing. I've read 2 books by her before. The last one I was a little confused about because it followed this woman and like 5 of her descendants. I think having this follow a mother and only 3 of like her daughters, not like her daughter's descendants, I think is going to be better. Plus, like, literally Nancy Goldstone can write anything and I am interested in it, but she always seems to write historical things that I find fascinating. Like, literally all of her nonfiction books like this that are about different people in history fascinate me. There's one about Joan of Arc that I want to get my hands on, but this was her newest one that came out at the end of last year, so I picked it up thinking it was going to be significantly smaller than it is, and it's not. I got the hardback instead, and so it looks like I could kill someone with it. This looks like it's the same size of Crescent City. It's huge. But yes, so I finally picked this one up, and I'm a very happy human, so I need to continue to collect her stuff because I adore her. The next book that I collected this month was actually a Christmas gift from my lovely friend Teresa. You guys have definitely seen this before, and that is Where the Drowned Girls Go. This is the most recent book in the Wayward Children's series by Shauna Maguire. I think this is the 6th or 7th one. Hold on, math is hard. This is the 7th one. I adore. You guys know how much I love this series, and this is just the newest installment in it, and I could not be more excited. As you guys know, I'm planning on reading it in February with my friend Teresa, who's the one who kindly gifted this to me. So it just kind of worked out. But this is a world, set in a world where there are doorways, and kids go through these doorways, kind of like Alice Goes to Wonderland, that kind of thing. And sometimes these worlds kick them out, and sometimes they accidentally take a doorway out of the world, one way or another. Sometimes they end up back in their original world where they grew up in. And so there are homes, particularly we're following one home, where these kids go to kind of just wait out their doors, you know, and be around people like them. So this one follows a girl named Cora, who we actually met in the 3rd book. She comes from a kind of like watery, mermaidy type of world, and in this book she's leaving the home that we have all known from the past books and going to a different one. And I've never read anything in the series where there's more than just this home, so I'm very curious where this story is gonna go, because it sounds like this home is the complete opposite of the one that she's been in. It's not as safe, it's not as nice, it just sounds generally mean and evil. So I don't know why she'd want to leave and go to a mean and evil place, but you know, I'm curious to see where she goes. I do love her. I loved seeing her because she does show up a couple of times in the series, so I love that we have a book that's like primarily following her and her world. That makes me so incredibly excited. So thank you so much, Teresa, and I cannot wait to dive into the next installment in the series. Like, seriously, if she continues to write books in the series, I will be happy forever. The next 4 I'm going to do together because they are the final 4 volumes of Dreaming Sun by Ichigo Chigano. So I have 7 through 10 here. So I have them all. I officially have every single volume because I think I had come close to finishing it. I think as of February, I would have finished the last one I owned, so I'm really glad that I picked up the next 4. First volume in this follows her as she leaves home because she doesn't feel as loved there. Her father and stepmother have just had a new kid, and again, she just kind of feels left out. So she's like, peace out. And she ends up moving in with this guy that she calls the landlord and 2 boys that she goes to school with. And so it's really kind of like a very cutesy found family situation because they bring in friends and they have friends. It's like, it's really just this adorable little community that she's created, and I've loved every second of it. The last one, as you would have seen on my wrap up, The last one I read was not my favorite. I have a couple of issues with that one, but I love the characters so much that I want to see this out to the end. I want to know how this ends. So I love seeing Shamana grow up and her kind of just like become who she is. The last one is thick though compared to the others. Like just holding it feels weird. But yeah, so I got the last 4. And I can finally finish out this series. And guys, this will be the first manga series. That's not true. I finished one others, but it only had 2 in it. So this is going to be my very long manga series finished. Maybe this year. Oh, I just spoke it into existence, which means it will definitely not happen now. The next book is the book that I got in my most recent Unplugged YA box. It was the January box. I'll leave my unboxing up above if you'd like to check it out, just in case you don't want to be spoiled. Skip ahead a couple of minutes. But that book is My Fine Fellow, and this is by Janique Cohen. This one revolves around food and like bakers. And oh my god, like, if you guys saw that video, you know how much I could not stop raving about how excited I was about this book. So, this is definitely my favorite book that's come in an Unplugged, I think. Maybe the adult December box, which had King of Battle and Blood, but, like, this one just sounds incredibly amazing. This one, I'm gonna have to look at the synopsis because I can't quite remember everything, but it takes place in 1830s England, and it follows 3 people who are culinarians, I think is what they're called, confectionists. Sure, and they are the creme de la creme of society. So we have Helena Higgins, who was the top of her class at the Royal Academy. We've also got Penelope Pickerington, who likes to do non-European cuisine, and so Europe is like, yeah, I don't know about that. And then we've got this guy who's named Elijah Little, and he is a Jewish boy, and he because of that, he can't get his own shop, he can't get into any place where he can apprentice to be a confectionarian or like make food and stuff. So it looks like the 3 of them are going to team up to make him kind of like this fake, put on like this fake persona and make him this person and turn him into this person that all of London's going to love. Sounds like hijinks are going to ensue, and I cannot wait. It sounds utterly amazing. And I definitely did not even know this book existed. I think it came out this year, and so this box just opened me up to a new book that I have a feeling I'm really going to enjoy. The next one is the only book that I don't physically have, and that is my pre-order on my Kindle of Electric Idol, which is the second in the Dark Olympus series by Katie Robert. This is a series that is set in kind of a contemporary setting and of the city of Olympus, and so I read the first one and this one, which followed Hades and Persephone, Neon Gods, last year. Freaking loved it, was so excited for the next 2. So this is the next one, and it follows Eros and Psyche. And Psyche, at least in this world, I still can't remember if it's actually in Greek mythology or not, but at least in this world, she and Persephone are sisters, and I can't remember exactly, but I remember Eros being like an awful guy in the first book, whereas like perceived to be this really bad guy. But I enjoyed the first one so much, I'm very excited to see the rest of this series. There's another one coming out in June, which follows some more Greek mythology people, but this is what this one's about. I don't know the actual plot of this, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really need to know the plot of this. So, Greek mythology, yes please. The next 2 books I picked up for a special video I'm doing later this month, and the first one is If the Shoe Fits, and this is by Julie Murphy, and that's the author of Dumplin', and this takes place, it's kind of like a Cinderella retelling meets The Bachelor, because we follow our main character Cindy, who has just come back from design school. She's obsessed with shoes. I think she wants to be like a designer, like a shoe designer one day, and she ends up moving back in with her stepmother, who is the executive producer of like this super popular dating show, and something happens and one of the contestants drops out, and she's basically forced to do it. So she's like, oh, this is great, I'll be able to help like let the world know about my shoes, and like I can maybe possibly get a job out of this. But then she's also the first and only plus size contestant on this show. So it's a lot of stuff I feel like we're going to get into with this book. I've heard incredible things about this. I've heard incredible things about this author as well. So I'm very excited about this. And also, I'm not sure I fully realized this was a Cinderella retelling until I got it in the mail. And I am not at all upset about that, because you guys know I like me some retellings. I love me some retellings, actually. And the next book is Weather Girl, and this is by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is one that I literally picked up because it's about a news station, and I have ties with news. So this follows a TV meteorologist as well as a sports reporter who team up together to get their bosses together. I don't know who they think their bosses are because I don't know about them, but like, when I was in news, both of your bosses was the news director. Like, there wasn't separate bosses. There was department heads. So, like, do they mean lead sports guy and lead meteorologist? Maybe. I think that's what that's what they must mean. Because, like, I don't know. Anyway, so they basically try to get their bosses together to create some time for themselves, just to kind of like give them a breather because their jobs are so hectic as it is. And then of course they're gonna fall for each other. I mean, why would they not fall for each other? You know? But I've heard incredible things. This one I believe just came out in January, so I haven't heard too much about this. I've heard stuff from very reliable sources, but I haven't seen many reviews beyond that, so if you'd like to get your hands on it, it's relatively new, but it sounds fantastic, and I am so excited to be getting to it in February. The next two books I'm actually going to do together because they are both Christmas presents from a friend of my husband and I's, actually the people that we play Villainous with. So when we went up a couple of weeks ago, we met and did like in-person Villainous safely, and we love playing that game. But for Christmas, they gave us two of the Twisted Tales books. So we have What Once Was Mine by Liz Braswell, and this is the Rapunzel one. And it says, what if Rapunzel's mother drank a potion from the wrong flower? And then we've got Go the Distance, and this is by Jen Colonita maybe, and it's What If Meg Had to Become a Greek God. So these are part of a very long series. I'm sure many of you has seen this series, but it basically takes the stories that we know from Disney stories and like Disney movies and just kind of like twists them in one very simple way, asks a question, twists it a little bit, and that changes the entire plot. So in this one with Rapunzel, it sounds like the mother is going to drink from a moonflower instead of a sunflower, and Rapunzel's going to have really scary magic, so she's locked up in a tower by her parents and guarded by the maid, Mother Gothel. And so Mother Gothel is actually good in this one, which is weird to me, to be honest. And then Go the Distance follows Meg, and she is trying to become a Greek god because she's been told that she can't be with Hercules if she's not a Greek god and then can live up in Mount Olympus. And so Hera, I think, gives her this task to do, and I think she has to team up with her ex-boyfriend, which is the reason that she was indebted to Hades to begin with. So they just sound really interesting, and like, Villainous is a Disney villain playing game, and these are both characters. I actually played this one when we met up, which was kind of cool. I played as Hades. But yeah, so we got both of those, and I'm very excited because, like, we have a couple. We've got the Beauty and the Beast one and the Aladdin one, and I haven't read either, but my husband's read the Aladdin one and said it was quite good. So I'm very interested in this one. Also, my best friend Lauren has read quite a few of these as well and says they're quite good. So I don't know. If you have a favorite in the series, let me know. I'd love to pick it up. But these sound good, and I just like the idea of them. Because again, retellings are my faves. The next one, I literally I don't even know how I found it. I stumbled upon it somewhere, and I added it to my Goodreads TBR, and then I was like, you know, just get it. It sounds so freaking good. Why not? And I believe it came out last year, and that is Love, Comment, Subscribe, and this is by Kathy Yardley. So this is basically about two people who are very popular content creators online that went to school with each other. I believe it was high school. They went to high school with each other, and they end up teaming up to help each other out. So it's kind of this like content creator YouTube thing, which is part of my life, so that just sounds really interesting. But it follows Lily, and she is, I believe, a like beauty guru, like beauty YouTuber, and she's having a hard time getting like that final kick to like hit her channel, kind of to make her go viral, therefore she can actually start making this career. And then you've also got this guy named Tobin, who is a gamer online, and he's looking, I think it's his manager or somebody, is basically saying like, hey, you're going to need something else to just be a little bit different. Just add a little something, a little spice to your channel. So the two of them team up to do something. I'm not sure what it is, but I think the two, I mean, obviously the two of them are going to fall for each other. And they're part of what is called the Nerd Herd, which was the oddballs and honor students in their high school. And this is actually part of a series. I can't remember what it's called, but there's one coming out in this later this year, and I think it follows a couple other people from this Nerd Herd. But I don't know, just the idea of these YouTubers teaming up, just, I don't know, that grabbed my attention. So I picked it up because it sounds amazing, and hopefully I can get to it soon. Like, I want to get to it in like the next couple of months because it sounds so freaking good. The very last book that I picked up this month is another pre-order that I did, but I'm an idiot and I read the year wrong. So this was on my most anticipated releases of the year, thinking it comes out in December. It came out last December. So that is Kiss of a Selkie, and this is by Tessonia Odette. This is the most recent one in her Entangled with Fae series. So I've bought actually all of her books, but she's got 3, this is the 3rd in this series, and then she's got the Fair Isle trilogy, and they're all in these beautifully illustrated and amazing covers, and then underneath they all have this stunning illustration as well. And so I bought them all directly from her Etsy so that A, they all match, and B, they're all signed as well. And then I discovered that she's actually the one who designs all of the artwork for this. So, oh my god, triple threat, amazing, first off. But this one came out in December, like last December. So pretend I didn't just say that I'm cool and was going to get this book 11 months ahead of time, because I'm not. I'm an idiot. We're moving on. So this is, like I said, the 3rd in her Entangled with Fae series. Now this is a companion series, so you don't have to read all of them. You don't have to read them in any order. They all just happen to be taking place in the same world, but they all follow completely different stories, completely different people, and they're all based on a different fairy tale. So the first one I read was based on Beauty and the Beast, the second one is based on Cinderella, and this one, of course, is based on Little Mermaid. This one particularly follows a girl, well, a Selkie named Maisie, and she's been kind of hiding out on land and getting by as being a thief. And so she ends up saving this guy who was drowning in like the water, which apparently is illegal. I don't know why, but apparently it's illegal. So she's been tasked to find this guy and kiss him, except for a Selkie's kiss means death. So aka she's been tasked to go kill him. And he ends up being pulled to the Fae world, and he's like terrified because he's not supposed to be there. He was supposed to die because his actual shipwreck was an assassination attempt. And so he's thinking the only way that he can actually stay on the Fae Isle is to marry a fae. So he sets up this competition to get all these debutantes to pretend, like, to want to be his wife, and then he's going to marry one of them. And so she partakes in this competition. And so it sounds like at the very top it says marriage of convenience. So I'm wondering how that's going to work, because clearly they're going to fall for each other, and clearly something's going to happen, because, like, she can't kill him, you know? So what does that, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I don't know, but this is her most recent one, and it's utterly stunning. Like, seriously, I'm obsessed with these books. I think they're some of the most beautiful books I have on my shelves, are these beautiful illustrated editions that she has done herself, which, again, I still can't believe she's actually done these herself. It's incredible. But yeah, so I got this one in the mail not too long ago, so I did pre-order it just for the wrong year. And that is it. Those are all of the books that I bought in the month of January. Well, those are all the books that I physically got in the month of January, minus all my pre-orders, because I have a problem. But I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you have read any of the books that I have mentioned in this video. I'd love to know your thoughts on some of them, because I like a lot of these I'm so freaking excited about. Like, I have plans to read a lot of these really, really soon. So, fingers crossed, because they sound amazing. Oh, we should do an emoji. I forgot to do an emoji in my TBR. Let's do the stack of books, because I have quite a stack of books. That seems appropriate. Let's do that. But if you like this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd like to become part of this awesome and growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so don't forget to check all of that out, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!